Hi everybody, welcome to Jan's Art. I'm going to use Procreate and I'm going to show you a few little beginners tips when you get started, because a lot of people are asking me. So what I'll do is we'll start off as we're just going to go into a new picture, yeah? So what I'll do is I'll go to a new canvas. This is this little cross in the corner, right? And there's a little black plus sign up here. You can use any of the canvases here, which are fine. But I like to use a certain size with a certain number of layers, and that size is 600 by 400. So if you press the plus and just type in, sorry, not 600, 6,000. 6,000 by 480. Well, it's already set to that. You can save this canvas as a template and call it whatever you want. Favorite. This is a favorite. So there, we're in our favorite now. If I could just go back into the main Procreate menu, you can see it's up there, untitled artwork, 6,000 by 4,800. Okay, now this canvas will give you a great size and a decent number of layers. Smaller ones will give you bigger layers, more layers to work with, but then it's the quality of the line you want that I'm after. So this is the size that I found that works for me, and 6,000 by 4,800 will give you a 10-inch by 8-inch print. It's a perfect size just for that. So when you send it off to the printers, that's a perfect size. Okay, right. So now we've got our canvas. Now, as you can see, I'm just using 2 fingers, and I can zoom in and out quite easily. I can turn it around. Thing is, when you turn it around, when I go back to the gallery, it remembers. You see, it remembers the last thing you've done to it. Okay, so there we go. We can turn it around and we can zoom in and out just using your fingers. Yeah. Now at the moment, I just have 1 layer. If I want to add another layer, I just press the plus in the corner, see, and I get another layer. I can delete that, swipe to the left and delete it. Right, a few basic tips. Okay, right. Tip number 1: when you make a mistake, we all make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Okay, but Procreate is so forgiving; it lets you unmake your mistake, which is great. So, for example, I'm going to go into inking. There's my favourite pen, my studio pen. See? That's the size that I've got. That's my favourite pen. There's my drawing pen. I can clear it. Just try out different things. Try out different things, fall off and spacing and jitter, shape. You don't need to go into that and just overcomplicate things. You can just accept it as it is. There's plenty of pencils, and you can change the size and the opacity of these 2 in the corner. So there's the brush size, see? And this is the opacity, okay? So I like to start off with a brush size of about, say, 13, 14, 15. Right, so I'm into black, so I can draw whatever I want. Nice little face there, look. Oh, I've made a mistake, I don't like it. 2 taps, 2 taps again, 2 taps again. Every time I tap twice, it goes back to where it was. Another quick way of getting everything off the screen without tapping like crazy is to just go to the layer that it's on, click on the layer and click clear. That way your whole screen is cleared now, okay? Right. Now there are a few things that Procreate will do to help you. Okay. First one is when you want to draw a straight line, and you can try as hard as you want, draw a straight line, and that's what you get. It's not very straight, is it? It looks terrible, in fact. But let me show you 2 taps. Let me show you that same line, but this time I'm going to keep the pencil on the screen. So I'll draw my wiggly line, keep my pencil, see how straight it is. And when it's straight, look, you can have a rainbow effect, see? You can put it in any position you want. And there you go, you've got a lovely straight line. If you draw a rough square or rectangle, there you go, it'll do it for you. Right, that is a little bit weird because one side is a little bit longer than the other. Well, now you can change that, because look what you can do. Let's just double tap that, double tap that. Right, let's draw that again. There's my square. Oh, see, I didn't leave my pencil down, so see what happened? It stayed as I drew it. So you have to leave your pencil down, see? There we go, we've got a bit of a square. It's a bit wonky, but we can correct that. Look, if I click the arrow up here, see? Now I can start to do magical stuff to the little square rectangle that I've just drawn. If I go to distort, see on the bottom, I just play around with the corners and I can make it look as rectangle as I want. If I go to freeform instead of distort, I can come back and look, I can make it like a half decent square. Now, isn't that amazing? That is the beauty of Procreate, see? And it'll remember your steps. Right, what else can I show you? Right, this here is the where is it? Ah, there it is. You can move this to the left or the right, or up and down, which is your favorite positions. And to change it from the left or the right, you'd go into preferences and use the right hand interface. So now it's on the right. So if you're left-handed, this is perfect. So you've got everything there on the right. I personally like it on the left. Okay. The brush cursor is when you're using a cursor, you can see it, and there's a circle. You can see what size it is. Okay. Right. Now, when you're drawing, right, there's a lot of advantages to using the layers, and what you can do is quite simply, let's just draw, oops, let's make it a bit thicker so you can see what I'm drawing. Let's just draw a circle, make it into a circle, okay, and let's just put some petals on. Okay. There we go. A couple more. Okay. Right, there's my very rudimentary flower. Okay. Well, let's say I want to colour that flower in. Okay, so let's go to yellow. Now in this palette here you have the disc palette. On the bottom you have classic, you have harmony, and whatever colour you pick, you'll see there's a harmony colour that goes with it. So if you're using one particular colour and you want to make sure the other colours you're using are in harmony, this is a lovely little thing to use. You've got the value where you can set the hue, the saturation, everything, or you can just have palettes. Now I've got a few palettes here. My default is my Pinny Hinnies palette. This is what I've been using to do all my Pinny Hinnies, and I've got my skin tones, my stockings, my pinny colours, the dress colours, the hair colours, and a few other colours mixed in. Now it's dead easy to make a palette. Okay, so all you do if you want to make a palette for yourself, just start off with a default colour, pick your colour you want. Let's go back to the disc. Let's say I want a nice red. Okay, there's a nice red. Okay, so if I go back to my palettes, this is my untitled palette. So if I just hold the cursor there, the pencil there, there's a set. Now I've got red in. Okay, let's put in a blue. Okay, so let's bring it round to the blue, and we've got a nice blue there. So let's just click on the next square, set that to blue. What we can do as well is, we can delete that one. We can have a sequence of colours between two tones. So for example, say we choose red, and I want to go a little bit darker. So I set that, see? And I want to go a little bit darker again, I set it again, and I want to go a little bit darker, and I set it again. See how I'm getting a lovely little palette there, and all the way to pretty much black. Okay, so I've got 5 red tones there. Right, let's have some yellow tones. So let's pick a yellow colour, and let's put a yellow on top, and let's just darken it a little bit more. A little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. Now I've got some lovely yellows. Okay, so there's my colours that I'm starting with. So what I'll do is oh wait a minute, let's try white. I do like a good selection of white. So what we do is we've got a white. Now white can go anywhere it wants when you start to darken it. So if you want some greys, put it towards the blues. So when you move the white away, it goes a little bit grayer, a little bit grayer, a little bit grayer, a little bit grayer. So now I've got some grey scales, okay? Right, now I've got my colours. Let's start having some fun. Right, if I start off with a yellow colour, let's pick the mid-range, okay? I can go back to my inking brush, my studio pen, and just start colouring. Now look, that's going to take a while to colour in because I've got a fairly fine nib. It's set to 1340. If I go up to 77, say, see, it's getting bigger. Right, and it doesn't take so long. Now there's a quicker way. Let's see if this works. Right. Now also, I use the undo buttons instead of the double tap with my fingers. It does the same thing. But what you can do is this. If you get a yellow drop and put it in the middle, it goes straight in the middle. Okay? Sometimes it'll bleed out. What happens when that happens? Let me show you. If, for example, I get my yellow and just bring it over to this leaf here. Oh, it's done it. Oh, there you go. Right, I'm keeping the pen on. You see how it's bleeding out and it's doing the whole screen? So I'm colouring the whole screen. But I only want to do that leaf there. I don't like the yellow leaf, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make just a little bit off white. Okay, and let's do the same for this one. And let's do the same for this one. And let's do the same. See how easy that is? Right, okay. What I want to do now is I want to show you what you can do with different textures and stuff. So I'm going to go back to black. And I'm going to go my studio pen. Yeah, I'm there. And I'm just going to draw a football. Okay. There's an old leather football. Let's just reduce the and what we'll do is we'll just put in a few. There we go. This is the old lace-up football. We used to call them cases back in the day. Okay. Now, if I can remember correctly, how this used to look. This is just very, very rough. We'd have a piece going that way and another piece going that way. We'd have a piece going that way. That's it. Another piece going that way, something like that. You get the idea. This is a case football, okay? There's a few mistakes, it doesn't really matter. But what I want to show you now is with the flower and the football. Oh, what we'll do is we'll just colour in the football. Let's give it a nice brown colour. Okay, and I say it only went so far. I did a little bit of detail. There we go. Let's just fill that in. I'm filling in the little spaces, so I'm just dragging everything. There we go. I may as well do the laces. Whoops. Right, see what's happened there? It's flooded the whole football. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go back. Right. Because I went on the black line and thought that's what I wanted to colour in. So what I do is let's get this back. Let's finish it off. That's better. Yes, that's much better. Right, so all I'm doing is I'm just colouring in the football just by dropping. Okay. I can, if I wanted to, reduce the size and just go in by hand. See? Right. So I've got my football there, okay? And I've got a flower. Okay, let's start having some fun with this. So at the moment, I've only got one layer. I've got two things on the one layer. Now what I can do as well, look, while I'm in this mode, see this little squiggle here? This lets me cut things out. So I can grab that. Okay, if I go to the arrow and uniform, I can start moving it around, put it on top of the football or whatever. I'll show you the difference between what everything does. Freeform lets you stretch it. Okay? It doesn't hold the aspect ratio like uniform. If it was uniform, aspect ratio would stay true. Freeform lets you pull either any side you want and to go back. Distort lets you just pull a corner. This is great for when you want to draw something and you want it lying down on the ground and you want to change its perspective. See how that flower now looks like? There you go. And just by putting them back, you can make it hold the middle and you can move it around. Warp is fun because what you can do with warp is you can take little bits, even the intersections of the lines, see, and you can alter the shape of things if you don't like them, see. So if I don't like that, double click and it goes back where it was, see. That's magic. Right, so we've got a flower and a football. Let's have some fun with this flower and this football. First off, what I want to do, I want to separate them so they're on separate layers. So what I'll do is I'll take the football and I'll copy and paste. Okay, just stop that. Let's have a look at our layer. So now I've got a layer with a football and a layer with a flower and a football. Okay, now I can erase the football on this layer just by doing, make sure I'm on the right layer, yeah. Great when it doesn't work, isn't it? Okay, why am I not working? Am I still in? No, that's it. I'm in the right layer. Stop that layer. Oh, because I have the big football on top, look, see? That's a common mistake you make when you're starting with layers and you're trying to erase something, you think nothing's happening. I've got the other layer on top of it. So as soon as you put it back, it's erased. You can see where I've erased it. There you go. That's why you weren't seeing the erase. It's a common mistake, even I do it. Don't worry, it's nothing major. But I'll show you a dead quick way to get rid of that football. Okay? all I need to do is go on the layer that the football and the flower are on, see? And if I use the uniform, watch this. If I just drag the flower to there, so the ball's completely disappeared. If I take off the mask, okay, oh, it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. I've erased it all in one swoop. And I often use this for just clipping bits that I want to clip. See? Well, this is close cropped anyway, but that's a great way just to lose bits and pieces that you don't want to see in your picture. So at the minute I have two layers. One's got a football, one's got a flower. Right, let's move the football to the center, see? There we go. First off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the flower. Okay, let's play with the flower. Now, to add some texture and some nice effects to that flower, I could paint by hand, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a layer above, and I'm going to call that a clipping mask. Okay, now because it's above the flower, I can only paint wherever the flower is. I can't paint outside the flower. For example, if I've got a brown here and I start painting on the leaf, see, as soon as I go off the leaf, there's nothing. It'll only clip to the what's underneath, so I can't paint on the background. Now this is absolutely brilliant when you want to do things. For example, let's take a lighter grey. I think that's a lighter grey, is it? No, must have been on the second one. Let's take white. Okay, let's go to textures. Okay, let's try some different textures here. Ooh, that looks nice. Let's see what we can do with that. Okay, now I've set it to brush opacity maybe 70. And that's the size. Wow, look at that. That's like a lovely little pattern going on there. And what it does, it picks up only where the flower is, you see? Right. Isn't that lovely? And it's going like foggy and everything. Let me show you something else you can do. Okay, if you're not into that pattern, let's change it for something else. What I want to do now is I want to change it to let's have, oh I know, touch-ups, right? And I've got a lovely little old skin pattern there, or zombie skin. Oh, that'll be great. Watch this. So I'll go into a darker yellow, or maybe a lighter yellow. That's it. Let's go bright yellow, and I'm in zombie skin. Okay, right, now watch this. Because I'm in my clipping mask, see, let's just clear that. Okay, so there's nothing there, but still a clipping mask above the flower. I'm in zombie skin. Oh, look at that. Now, that's a bit small, that brush. Let's make the brush a bit bigger. Wow, look at that. See? That's quite nice, because look, it's like bleeding out into the flower. Now what I can do as well, I can add a darker one color, and I'm still in zombie skin, but I'm going to change it to old skin. And let's just change the brush. Oh, look, let's see, got like the little pollen seeds. Look, see, and you can play with that. Right, let's now go to the white. Let's go to a airbrush, and let's just play around with. Oh, look, it's a very fine airbrush. Let's zoom it up a bit. Whoops, too thick. A little bit thicker. what you can do is change the opacity, different leaves, see? There we go. So I'm using little textures on my flower. Another thing I can do is this, look, if I erase everything, go back to just where I was, there's my flower. Okay, let's clear that. So I've got my flower exactly where it was. Let's put some white in there. I've erased the whole flower, okay? If I go back to my, there it's white. Oh, I was on the clipping mask. Let's come out, let's clear that. Well, let's get rid of that flower. Delete. Right, I'll show you how I do my outline drawings. If I go back to black, go to my inking, and we'll start off again with a flower, a rough circle. Okay, and we'll get our shapes. This is going to be better. Last time I was painting out my outlines. Okay, there we go. There's my flower. Okay, now I've got a flower, and if you noticed, it's got like a grey background. If I take the background off, you'll see the flower, but there's no colours to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer. Okay, I'm going to put the flower layer, the outline, on top. Okay, now because it's on top, whenever I paint now I'm not using the clipping mask for this. I'm just going to use, I'm just going to use my, and when I zoom in, I can quickly, right, this is, sometimes this happens when you're painting. The opacity layer is set to like 67, 66, and as I'm painting, if I take my paintbrush off, I get what you call biscuit breaks. See how one colour is the same? Well, if you're happy with the colour you want and you want it full intensity, hold your finger. There's your colour there. Make it 100%. And when you start painting it, see, there's no opacity. It's 100% that colour. Okay? If you want the opacity on while you're painting, that's fine if you like that kind of effect, whatever it is you're painting. But I'm doing a little illustration of sorts, and I just want to show you the difference. Right, now I've just gone over there a little bit, it doesn't matter, I'm just tidying it up. Right, now we've done that yellow bit. Let's go and make a layer above that. Now we've still got the outline of the flower there. Let's turn that layer into a clipping mask, right? Let's change the colour. Let's go for a dark. Let's go back to our zombie skin. Where was it? Textures. Abstract. Elements. I can't remember where, there it is, my zombie skin. Okay, so there's my zombie skin. I've got it set up. Let's go to my brush. There's my opacity. I can set that halfway. Now I'm going to paint on the clipping mask above the yellow circle. Okay, I can take that off. Do you see the rough outline that I've got of the flower? Right, now I'm just going to start putting in, look at that, looks a bit like a cabbage. I don't like that at all. Let's change it and try something else. Let's go for a old skin. See what that does. Make it a bit bigger. Oh, that's a little bit better. Okay. Right. Now what I'm going to do is alter it and maybe have a little bit lighter ones in there. Look, give it a little bit of light coming in from this side. See? There we go. Let's change it and we'll go for a white even. There we go. And I'm still in zombie skin. There we go. So you can start to make it look as realistic as you want with the different textures. You can try a different texture like stubble. Let's change it to a bright yellow and let's go in with a stubble. If I raise it, there, oh that's better. Oh, I like that. That's almost furry look, isn't it? Okay, let's add, I want to add another colour. I want to go to an orange. So I'll add an orange here, set. I've got this stubble and I'm just going to go in with some orange there. Oh, that's lovely, that. I do like that. Right. So now I'm starting to get what I want. Let's try a little bit of red. Change the bit. Just enhance the orange. Oh, look at that. That's brilliant. See that furry bit that I'm getting? Just with playing with a couple of textures. Okay. Let's go to my football. Okay. And the beauty of this is I've still got my outline and everything is below the outline. See? So if I take that off, that's what I've got. So that's that texture. Right, let's go back to our football. Okay. Right. Because I drew this all in one and coloured it in one, well, let's redo it while we're here. Okay. I want the football. Let's put it in the centre. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try something here. I'm going to put white as a colour on my football. Just there. See what I did there? If you hold your pencil down, I'll do it again, go back. If you have got a colouring and just want the outline, hold your pencil and just by going left or right, you can intensify the threshold. It's called the colour drop threshold. So if you want the whole scene gone, colour gone, it's gone. And I've just got a lovely outline now. Now I can go back to my, let's create a layer. Okay, let's put this layer on top. Oops. I put that layer on top. Right, I'm going to show you something. If I take the background off, you see how it's white. So if I was to paint anything in the layer underneath, I wouldn't see it because it's white. So what I do is, if I click on the little N next to the tick and come down to multiply, okay, so that means when I paint in on this layer, let's just get a nice brown colour. There we go, a nice brown colour. Let's go to inking again. I'll use an untitled brush and just paint it in. You can see now I'm painting on the layer, but you see what's happening. I can also drop it in, change the threshold. Can I? Oh, no, it's not going to. There's too many holes in it. This one I'll have to paint by hand. So there's my football. Okay, just filling it in very, very quickly. Let's just make it a bit bigger. Okay. Right, I'll just bring the background back. Right, so there's my football. It's not particularly pretty, but I just want to show you how I get the rough texture on the football. So I've got my outline. That's Lily barking like crazy outside the cave. Don't worry. I've got my outline. It's in multiple multiply layer so I can see through it. It's not white, but I've got my football layer, which is brown, but I want to add some texture, so I'll add a layer. I'll give it a clipping mask because I want it to clip to the brown. Okay, so what I'm going to use for this is a lovely little brush here that I discovered. It's in Abstract. This is it, second from the bottom, Spicule. It's a lovely little brush. And what you can do with this brush, look, if I go to a dark brown and make it a little bit big, not so high on the opacity, 65, 68, and just start, oh, a bit bigger. Let's make it a little, oh, it's too big. Go back. That's the size. Right, now as I start doing this, you get like a wiry, scratchy effect. Okay, let's just add some really darks in there. Okay, now follow me. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into the white. Oh, let's try that orange. The orange is nice. And let's change the opacity. And let's just put in a few. Oh, look at them scratches. They're quite. This ball's been kicked around a bit. Look at it. See this? See what I'm getting? Oh yes, I do like this. Right, let's add some white. Let's give it a little bit of highlights to it. Oh, that's lovely. Look. Let's give it some highlights up here. There we go. That's an old football. Now what I love to do as well is if I go to the opacity and bring it right down, I can actually, look at that, start to give it an edge to where these bits of leather are, see? There we go. Only do it, follow the light, see? There we go. Now, because there's light, it also has to be a darkness. So I'm still got the spicule brush. So let's just darken this. Let's just make it a little bit darker, a little bit thicker. That's it. Actually, I should turn a little bit of light there. That's better. Let's maybe go to the nearly black. Oh, that's better. Look, see? And all I'm doing is now I'm doing the edges of the other side where I did the white, see? And it's just making it jump off the canvas. Okay, see how easy that was? Now the lace is a mess because I've got the speaker, but that's not a problem. All I need to do, look, is just erase places. Because I'm in the clipping mask. See? So I've got a nice little, let's do the little ringlets where the laces go in. Okay, let's add a little bit of colour to this. So if you want to get a colour next to the colour you want to paint, pick the colour first with your finger, see? Go to your wheel and you want a little bit lighter, fine. Let's go to inking. Let's make it the studio pen. And let's just make a little bit lighter, see? So all I'm doing is I'm just putting a highlight on, okay? And I can do the same thing for the ringlets. A little bit of a highlight there. Okay. And there you go. One football. See how easy that was? So let's, oh yeah, here's a little trick. When you've got your layer, if I select the outline and then flick to the right, I select all three. If I go to move it and resize it, it'll resize everything, see? So there's my football. Let's bring back my flower, and let's do the same to the flower. Flick to the right, position, and just get my flower. There we go, and my football. Right, I hope that gives you a heads up on a few little things you can do. The brushes are amazing. There are so many things you can do, but remember the layers are there. Remember the 2-tap, the go back, the opacity, and the size of your brush. That's really all you need to get started. I hope you've had some fun watching this, and I can't wait to see what you've created using Procreate. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.